Hello everyone, welcome to Deepti's biology class. We are starting with our new chapter, Human Reproduction. This is chapter 3 under unit 1, right? So in this particular lesson, we will be discussing in detail the male reproductive system. In this entire chapter, we will be studying male and female reproductive system, production of male and female sex cells, and the development of embryo or the human fetus, right? These many things we will be discussing in detail, but in this lesson we are starting with male reproductive system. In this male reproductive system, which has 4 main parts, that means under these 4 headings we will be discussing the male reproductive system. This includes testes, accessory ducts, accessory glands, and external genitalia. From this you have to understand the male sex cell as well as the male hormone, both are produced in this testis. So male sex hormone as well as the sex cell both are produced in testis, and these all are the structures or the product of these structures are going to help in the transportation of either the sex cell or the hormones into the target region, right? So we'll discuss all these things one by one. Let's start with the testis. So this is the entire diagram, we can say the overall structure of male reproductive system. So this is the side view and we are going to talk about this testis. So there are pair of testes which are located, and each testis is covered by a tissue or a sheath, we can say scrotum. So understand, there are a pair of testes, each testis is covered by a tissue called as scrotum. Now let's see what are the implications of that, right? Now testis, this is the singular, right? It is situated in the pelvic region outside the abdominal cavity. We know that, see from this diagram it is clear that this testis is not located in the abdomen or it is not located within the body like how the female reproductive system is located, right? The reason is that the testis produce sperm. Sperm production can take place only in the lower temperature below than our body temperature. That is the reason why testis is located outside the abdominal cavity. So this is an important question. Why the testis is located in the means outside the abdominal cavity inside the scrotum? The reason is that the temperature which is required for the sperm production is 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius, which is lower than the average human body temperature. Now what is the scrotum? It is a small muscular sac that contains and protects the testis. It is a part of external male genitalia and is located behind the penis. So here is the penis, right? This is the penis. So behind the penis there will be the testis which is located and it is protected by the scrotum, right? Now the lower temperature of the testis is required for the spermatogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? The process of formation of sperm, right? Sperm formation. If the temperature is more, what happens? There will be some abnormalities in the sperm, or else we can say sperm production will not take place, or else it can lead to mutation in sperms. Now what is the shape and size of the testis? Testis is oval in shape and approximate size is 4 to 5 centimeter long and 2 to 3 centimeter wide. And now here onwards I am going to discuss with the help of diagram. So from this diagram you got an idea what is the overall structure of male reproductive system. This is the side view. Now we have to study this testis in detail. So what we are going to do is that this testis we will study separately and then we'll come back to the original diagram. So this is the section of a single testis. We will come back to this diagram later, right? Now the testis we have, so where will be the scrotum? Scrotum will be the protective covering, or we can say that there is a muscular tissue within that this testis is located. This much entire thing, this is entirely we call it as from here till here we can say that this is actually the testis, right? Now each part of this testis is important. One by one you can carefully listen. Now this testis has a covering which is 2 layered. Which are that layers? One is tunica vaginalis and the second one is tunica albuginea. Tunica vaginalis or tunica albuginea. So how much is tunica vaginalis? From this much, which consists of outer parietal, middle cavity and inner visceral layer. So if anywhere you see there is visceral layer, you just understand that layer is rich in blood supply. So if I rub this much, are you able to see that? The outer layer of the testis, scrotum is the entire protective bag-like structure. Within, see, if this is the scrotum, within that there will be testis will be there, right? This testis is made up of two layers, tunica vaginalis and tunica albugina. How many layers this tunica vaginalis made up of? Outer parietal, middle cavity and the inner visceral layer. Now, where is this tunica vaginalis? If you can see this light blue colored one, see wherever I am drawing this one, this is what we call this tunica albuginea. See, but there is a difference here. When we talk about tunica vaginalis, it was a continuous layer like this, right? But when we talk about tunica albugina, this is a membrane, but in between it has some infoldings. So whenever there is such a foldings are coming, this inner testis mass is divided into number of lobules or compartments. If you see this much is one compartment, this is another compartment, this is another compartment. What is the reason for formation of this compartment? This layer, that is tunica albugina, is showing some kind of folding in between. So when they fold or grow inward, what happens? This inner chamber is divided into number of compartments. So this light blue colored things, this layer we call it as tunica albugina. So this one is tunica albugina. So this gap which you can see here, this is also tunica albugina, right? So this tunica albugina makes this testis into number of lobules. So we call it as testicular lobules. Testicular lobules you can say. Now what is there inside each lobule or compartment? So this is one compartment, right? This is another compartment. These were many compartments are there. How this compartment formed? Because of this tunica albugina, which divides this inner complete area into number of chambers. Now each these lobule consists of a tube-like structure, right? This tube-like structure we call it as seminiferous tubule. So each compartment inside the testis consists of a mass of tube-like structure. Actually it is like a tube. To accommodate more, actually what happens, there will be these type of fold way. This way they are in a cluster, it is arranged. So this is seminiferous tubule, these are also seminiferous tubule. So each compartment is made up of seminiferous tubule. So this is the seminiferous tubule, and towards one end you can see this is straight. So we will say that straight seminiferous tubule. So end of, see like this folding I told you, after some length it is straight, after some length it is going to be straight. So seminiferous tubules are present in each compartment. So these are seminiferous tubules. So we have discussed up to here of the diagram, right? So there is outer layer tunica vaginalis, inner layer called tunica albugina. This divides the inner space of this testis into number of compartment. Each compartment consists of tubular structure called seminiferous tubule. Now this seminiferous tubule is important because majority of the functions of testis is going to happen there. So in a simple way you understand, within this seminiferous tubule sperm production takes place. So where the sperm is produced? The sperm is produced actually inside this tube. If I am making this tube as separately, see like these tubes are there, right? This way the tubes are there. The sperm production takes place within this tubular structure, right? Now when the sperm is produced by this tubular structure, that sperm from each such compartment, from each lobule, the sperm is collected by a structure, a network like structure. This network like structure we call it as rete testis. So what is rete testis? It is a common network like structure which collects sperm from each compartment, right? In each compartment there is seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule produces sperm. Sperm will be collected by the rete testis. From the rete testis, now this will go to a structure we call it as epididymis. So this much is the epididymis. Now the important thing, from the rete testis, the sperm is collected to the epididymis by another tube, we call it as efferent ductules. So what are efferent ductules? These are the structures which collect sperm from this here to here, right? From there to there it will be collected by, see if sperms are here now, this is what we call rete testis. The sperm which are produced in each compartment, within the compartment seminiferous tubules are there. That will be collected first by rete testis. From the rete testis it will go to the epididymis. Who brings to epididymis? That is efferent ductule. That means these tubes. Through these tubes it is going to reach there. Now this epididymis is divided into three parts. Which are they? Head of the epididymis, body of the epididymis and tail. Simply this much: head, body and tail. So this much is the epididymis, the head, body and tail of the epididymis. Since this is a long structure, when the sperm which was not completely developed, when it travels through this area, it is going to develop, and sperm and everything will be temporarily stored in this epididymis before completely develops. So let's see till now what we have seen. Till now we have seen that this testis is having a membranous structure which is termed as tunica vaginalis is the outermost one, and the inner one is tunica albuginea, which divides the testis into number of compartments. Each compartment is made up of seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule produces sperm. Sperm will be collected into the rete testis. From the rete testis, this will be carried to the head of the epididymis by efferent ductules. Now the sperm will be traveling from the head to the body of the epididymis. Then it will come to the tail. From the tail, it goes to a structure we call it as vas deferens, right? Vas deferens. So what is this? Now see, this efferent ductules are also termed as vas efferens also. E, right? That you will see in different books. Doesn't matter. It is also termed as efferent ductules, or we can also call this structure as vas efferens. So there can be a question, the difference between vas deferens and vas efferens, right? Difference. So you understand, this tube is moving backward through behind the testis. Actually behind the testis it is going and moving upward. This is what we call vas deferens. So where the epididymis is connected to, epididymis is connected to the vas deferens. So let's locate the pathway of this one. So from where the sperm start producing, from the seminiferous tubule through the straight tubule reaches to the rete testis, then through the efferent ductule or vas efferens it reaches to head of the epididymis, body, tail. So this is the way. Then through this it reaches to this vas efferens. So that vas efferens is through this, behind it goes this way. Through this vas efferens now the sperm is going to travel further. Now let's come to this diagram, which is very much important. If you are understanding this diagram, which means almost everything you have understood. Now we will understand this diagram. So if I am making one lobule here, so this is that lobule, and these type of tubes are there, right? So one seminiferous tubule is here, another seminiferous tubule is here, this way it is there, right? Now another will be there. So these way compartments are there. So one testicular lobule I have drawn. Inside that there will be these type of seminiferous tubule. Now if I cut this tubule, so this way if I cut this tubule, what can I see? These tubes which are in this round form, right? Apart from that, the space between these tubes which I can see in this way. Are you getting what I am saying? So these tubes If two are there, I will see one like this, one more will be there like this, right? If many tubes are there when I cut, so there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, this way tubes are there. So what is the connection between these two diagrams? So this is the complete structure of testis. In that, number of testicular lobules are there. Each lobule, when we cut, what we will get? This round structures which we are getting. Actually, what is this structure? This is actually the seminiferous tubule. Now each seminiferous tubule is made up of different types of cells. Which are they? The first one is spermatogonium. So what are spermatogonium and where it is located? Spermatogonium is located in each seminiferous tubule. Now where is this seminiferous tubule located? That is located in testicular lobules. In these type of testicular lobules, this is actually the seminiferous tubule. Now what is the spermatogonium? The development of spermatogonium takes place from outside towards this lumen. If you see, the spermatogonium undergo meiosis and finally it is going to become the sperm. Can you see these tailed structures which are here? These are nothing but these are the sperms which are formed from the spermatogonium. Now how this takes place? By the process spermatogenesis. Spermatogonium undergoes spermatogenesis to form sperm. So you may see the term spermatozoa. Spermatozoa is the single one. When collection of spermatozoa is there, we call it as sperms or sperm. So spermatozoa is equal to sperm cell. Sperm cell is 1, spermatozoa is 1, but sperms means more than 1. Spermatogonia, which is diploid cell, undergo meiosis to produce so many sperms, right? So these all sperms are going to be haploid in nature. Now apart from this spermatogonium, one more thing we can see, that is Sertoli cells. What is the function of the Sertoli cells? These are the Sertoli cells. This will nourish this spermatogonium, sperm. All these things are going to get nourishment from the Sertoli cells. So what is present inside the seminiferous tubule, or else these tubes which we can see, what is present in that? This consists of spermatogonium which will develop to form sperms and Sertoli cells that is going to nourish the spermatogonium or the developing sperms, or which can even nourish the spermatogonium when it undergo spermatogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? This is the process of formation of sperms from the spermatogonium. Now, there is a space outside single tubule. So when I have made this diagram, like see one tube, when I am making like this, these type of seminiferous tubules are there, right? When we cut this seminiferous tubule, we get this diagram. One more if it is cut, then this will become complete. So we have taken up one portion only from this. Now can you see some space between this one, these spaces? This space we call it as interstitial space. Interstitial space. Actually this is interstitial space. Out. See, if this is the tube, this tube is this one. The space outside to this one, right? This space will be here. Now what is there in this space is that this space consists of Leydig cells. So what is the function of these Leydig cells? The Leydig cells are the cells which produce male sex hormone such as testosterone, or also termed as male androgen. This is the testosterone hormone. So how many things can we see inside this particular lobule? In the lobule there is seminiferous tubule, and surrounded to the seminiferous tubule there will be interstitial space. This entire space. What the space contain? The space consists of these type of Leydig cells. Function of Leydig cells to produce the testosterone. And what is there in the seminiferous tubule, which consists of spermatogonium that is going to develop into sperm, and Sertoli cells which are there. These are the Sertoli. These yellowish or greenish color one, we can say that Sertoli cells that will nourish the spermatogonium. Or at a glance, what can we say? This is the structure of the testis. Each testis is divided into number of lobules. Each lobule produces two things. Which are they? Each lobule produce Testosterone hormone from the interstitial space. Interstitial space consists of interstitial cells or Leydig cells. Another name of Leydig cell is interstitial cell. And inside the seminiferous tubule, what will be there? Production of sperm will be there. So if you take only one such lobule as an example, where the sperm is produced within the seminiferous tubule. Where the hormones are produced outside the seminiferous tubule but inside testicular lobule. So understand, see, if this entire things are going to come in each lobule. So both hormone as well as the sperm, everything will be inside the testicular lobule or in each compartment. But more precisely, if we want to say where the sperm produced, within seminiferous tubule. Where the hormone is produced, outside the seminiferous tubule, right? What produces sperm? From the spermatogonia. And where the hormone is produced? In the interstitial space outside the seminiferous tubule, right? Produced by Leydig cell. But remember, both these things are produced in these testicular lobules. Is it clear? Now just we can see here, each testis has about 250 compartments called as testicular lobules. Each lobule contains 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubule we have discussed. Seminiferous tubules are the site for meiosis that leads to the formation of spermatozoa. Spermatozoa are sperm, right? A difference between singular and plural, right? Now this diagram we have studied, same this diagram is given here, but one more thing is shown here. If this much area, if we are going to focus one side, if we are going to focus, what will be there? There will be the spermatogonia, the large cell. It passes through number of stages of division or difference. Later it becomes spermatozoon, that is the singular, or else we can say that it forms the sperms. So this spermatogonia will be nourished by this surrounding cells. Indirectly you can say that the developed sperms are also nourished by this Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells nourishes the spermatogonia as well as the sperms. What is the difference between spermatogonia and spermatozoa? Spermatozoa or sperm, both are same but singular plural difference. Spermatogonium is diploid. Spermatozoa is haploid. This much you can understand. This is actually the sex cells, right? Inner lining of each seminiferous tubule consists of two types of cells, which are the spermatogonia and Sertoli cells. Spermatogonia are the immature male germ cells that undergo meiosis, leads to the formation of sperms. We know, right? Each spermatogonium is diploid and contain 46 chromosomes in case of human. Spermatogonium now undergo meiosis to produce spermatozoon or sperms. Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the spermatogonia. Now, interstitial space are the regions outside the seminiferous tubule. They contain small blood vessels, some immunocompetent cells, and interstitial cells or the Leydig cell. So, this is what I am telling. Understand this thing. Not only in these gap I am talking about, in between this also there are space. Between these two tubes there will be space, right? Mainly these Leydig cells are present there. Like see, if this is that tubule, there will be seminiferous tubule like this, right? Another compartment is here, another compartment is here. These are the seminiferous tubule. Now whatever space is here, these space are actually filled with Leydig cells. Some can be found here also, right? Here also, here also. So we can say that each compartment consists of seminiferous tubule as well as Leydig cells, and Leydig cells are going to produce the hormones. So these are the Leydig cells. This will be that tube. Leydig cells produces testicular hormones or androgen, or which is also termed as testosterone. This is microscopic diagram. So this much is going to be one of the seminiferous tubule. This is the epithelial covering of that tubule. Outside the seminiferous tubule, whatever cells are there, we call it as interstitial cells. Outside these tubules, whatever we can say, that is interstitial cells. Now Sertoli cells are there to nourish spermatocytes, spermatids. These all we will see, that is the different stages of development, right? So just it is a microscopic one. Now we know accessory ducts. Under accessory duct, we will study retrotestis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, and vasa deferens. We have already discussed all these terms, right? See, retrotestis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, and vasa deferens or vas deferens. Retrotestis, there are ducts that connect the seminiferous tubule of the testis to the vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia is also termed as efferent ductules, right? Now, vasa efferentia, these ducts leave the testis and open into epididymis that located in the posterior surface of each testis. Epididymis is located in the posterior surface of the each testis and opens into the vas deferens. Now, what is vas deferens? Vas deferens is the duct that ascends into the abdominal cavity and loops over the urinary bladder. It receives a duct from the, so this is what we have to discuss now. Now, if you look at this diagram, so this is this diagram which we have studied right now, right? So, these are the pair of testes, one here and one here, which is covered by a bag-like structure, we call it as scrotum. Now, vas deferens is given here. See, this is this diagram. If you look at this one, this is the vas deferens, right? So that tube, if it goes upward, this is what the same vas deferens. So now we know that sperm, hormone, everything is produced here, will be carried this way. It move backward, then it come upward. This is what we call vas deferens. Two diagram you must be able to connect. Now, where it is going? It is connected towards the urinary bladder. So, please understand this case. In case of male, for the passage of urine as well as the ejaculation of the sperm, the same opening is there, which means the urine which is produced here and the sperm which is coming from this testis, both have to pass through the same opening. This has to be clear with you. If you look here, there is ureter which is coming from the kidney, which is connected to the urinary bladder. So towards the urinary bladder, it is not going to enter into urinary bladder, but the vas deferens is also connected to the urethra, the male excretory part, right? To the urethra it is connected. Why it is connected to the urethra? It is connected to the urethra because there is single opening for the passage of urine as well as the ejaculation of the sperm. Now we will see in the next video lecture 3 things which are left under this part, that is these glands which are given there, right? With this gland we will be completing our lecture.